Kia ora everyone, a little bit nervous. I'm not a public speaker at all, just have a bit of a story to tell. Appreciate the whānau here, the boys coming to support me, vice versa. Brochures Change, I think I'll just start by, to understand Brochures Change, I think you need to understand where it came from. So just a little bit about me. My name's Jay. Sometimes it's Jay, sometimes it's Esquire, Jay Gangster Puki Puki Junior II. This is my 2-week-old son, Machu. And this is my girl, she's 7. She's going to be an MMA fighter. And this is my wife. I stole it from Victoria's Secret model. A little bit about me, I was born in Auckland. My father was a policeman. I was whānau to my grandmother. I'm the only son to my father. Got five sisters. So I went to my grandmother when I was real young, and she wasn't very mobile, so I looked after her mobile needs, and she looked after everything else. I grew up quite transient, quite independent, quite looking after myself. Didn't really go to school much. I was just like no shoes, smutty nose, running around, quite street smart. And then I didn't really get any formal education. One thing I was good at was sport. No matter where I was, I always found a rugby league game on Saturday, but I couldn't find school. I had a few dreams when I was young. I didn't know how important having these dreams would be until later, but when I was 16, I had aspirations of playing in the NRL, owning a WRX, and having a Victoria's Secret wife. You already know I had one of them. So yeah, I set these when I was 16, and they were just in my mind, and to me that's all that mattered. Probably the first two was I wanted a mean-ass car, WRX, because I seen it like do a skid at the lights one time. I knew nothing else about it, and rugby league. I was hopeless at rugby league until I was 13, and something happened, and I made a rec team, and I kept making rec teams from that moment onwards until I made a really cool rec team, which was this team. The reason I got this photo up there is to brag. No, it's actually an important part because this is a professional environment, and I was flying around Australia playing in a Super League competition as a 16-year-old with no education, and my mind wasn't set up to cope with that environment. So I didn't really go far. I was just a big kid with a Magnum PI moustache that was very athletic, and that's it. So what happened was there was a few things. I found alcohol, had a little bit of money, a little bit of fame, a few girls, and I got a bit of an ego, and that set me on a path of, I guess, quitting on myself. I call it, because I wasn't set up to cope, but you can call it whatever you like. Pretty much I quit through alcohol, which led to fighting, putting myself in high-risk situations, and to the attention of the police, and other things. So I didn't go. I managed a reserve grade Super League, and then that's about it. I dropped out, drank regularly, didn't really work much, just had a few odd bum jobs, and then turned into this guy. So I used to fight a lot on the streets, and I got into trouble with the police and I got community service. Those look after the park people. And then what happened there was I met like-minded people, and they took me in. I was this big athlete, and they took me in and introduced me to fighting in the ring. And they were also a gang, and they also sold drugs out of the gym. So I was caught up in that. Back then, most of the fighting was underground as well, so it was all pretty seedy. Anyway, I ended up doing about 15 armed robberies. There was a big jump there. So I went to jail. I went to jail for 6 years, and I spent most of that in Parry Maximum up in Auckland. The thing about that is you probably couldn't get any further down. You couldn't hit much more rock bottom, and I had a lot of time thinking. What I did do in there was I watched the guys in the team I used to play with on TV, make first grade, make Kiwis, go to UK, big contracts, and some of them are now still TV presenters, and I was playing sort of Crash in the Wing. That was one thing. Another thing was I mentioned I had 5 sisters, so 4 of them were like quite small, and then 6 years later they were quite big, and they had boyfriends, and I missed all of that. And the last thing was I was gifted. I was fortunate enough to be gifted with an ability as an athlete, as you can see. Not so much now, but back then, and I was wasted. I wasted that for a stupid mistake. It only took my mind to switch off for a little bit, and I think that was due to just lack of education. So what I did was I used the jail to educate myself because it was free. I call it my IE, my indoor experience. Got to travel around, meet new people, try all different food. It was free. So I used it to my advantage, still. And I ended up doing a chefing apprenticeship. Why chefing? When I was 5, I woke up one morning and made a ginger crunch, don't know why, left it on the beach and went back to bed. It's pretty random. And then all of a sudden I wanted to be a chef. So 3 years of my prison time I spent doing an apprenticeship in the kitchen and ended up being a prison staff cook. When I got out, I went straight to Auckland Hotel Chef Training College and finished my level 3 chef qualification and became a chef. Too fast. Became a chef, and then I started working as a chef. And when I started working as a chef, I was like, "Oh, this is shit." So I left. But I didn't know my chefing knowledge was in prison, and that was cool. I thought. So I just. The good thing about that is I put it in my back pocket, and I can use it whenever I want. And then I was quite into my self school, and I loved muscles and abs, and the guys working on the beach. So I wanted to be a personal trainer. So I became a personal trainer, and then started working as a personal trainer, and I thought that was shit, so I left. But that's something I can put in my back pocket as well. Before I went to jail and I was fighting, I had 11 boxing fights, and I was experienced on the street, so I wasn't too bad. I lost my first and my last. There was 11 all up, and then when I got out, I carried that on and did boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. The reason I put that up was because I used to fight all the time. I didn't know why at the time, but now I know. It's because I had something to prove. Once I learned how to fight, I felt I didn't need to prove anything. It's kind of Bruce Lee's old saying, learn how to fight so you don't have to. And that actually, it was an event for me, just like playing league on the weekend. All the stresses of the week would build up, go punch a bag or go run at someone on the field, and it was like a reset, it was like a fix. This is my dad. This is a New Zealand Māori Rugby League team. When I got out, I was offered contracts to play in the NRL, but I couldn't get a visa to go to Australia. But I didn't quit. I kept going for 10 years. I applied every year. Every year I got a contract. Every year I got denied. I got older and slower, and the contracts got less and less. But I kept going. And what I could do was play as high as I can in New Zealand. So essentially my sail just went from 2 by 3 metres to the shores of New Zealand. So I went as far as I could in New Zealand, which was New Zealand residents and New Zealand Māori. When I went to New Zealand Māori, I actually had a choice of, because the residents played the Māoris, so I had to pick one team. I was lucky enough to have a choice, and I chose the residents, and the residents beat the Māoris. And then the next year I thought, oh, I'll choose the Māoris, so I played for the Māoris, and we still lost to the residents. But what I experienced in the Māoris was like nothing I'd experienced in any other team, Warriors, New Zealand, anything, and it was their culture. And it really kick-started my journey into finding out who I really am, my identity and my culture. So much so that I moved to Christchurch from Auckland, and in order to make the New Zealand team, you have to go to the national tournament. And I played with Auckland in the national tournament, and when I came to Canterbury, there's no team. So I looked at the Canterbury Bulls team, and 2/3 of them were Māori. So I thought, man, we could actually get a competitive team. So I got a whole lot of the boys together, and we played a game against the Samoans at Hunhei Park. They called it the Bros vs Usos. And it was awesome, eh? It was a good day. We got wasted. But the thing is, when we turned up there, we had no jerseys, we had no players, so I was pulling guys off the side. Heaps of people were build-ups. They're telling me they turned up and they didn't. So I had to grab any Māori with boots off the sideline. We prepared some sort of haka before in the car park, and we got wasted. I went to some people after the game. I said, hey, if you guys can help me out, I don't know what I'm doing. I just think that Canterbury has potential for a good Māori rugby league team. And they said, nah, you guys will need security at your game, and you Māoris won't turn up and all that. So I said, okay, cool. So that was the first game. That's the Māoris versus the Usos at Hunhei Park. That was us together after when we got wasted. That was in 2011, and we saw a persistence. Those people who I asked back in 2011, they come to me today and they ask if I can help them, and I say, of course, and then I send them an invoice. That's just my way of getting one over, I think, as success. So that was 2011. Today, this is us today. We have 8 teams from under 6s all the way up to Wahine and the senior men's team. The trophy there, the tall one standing up, that's the Usos trophy that we took off them. The one next to it is the National Māori Rugby League Haka Champion trophy. So we're 2-time defending Haka champions now. And that's the World Cup in the middle. We've been to the national tournament 4 times, and we've taken our men's team 4 times, our rangatahi team and our women's team. We have all our own gear now, as you can see, and we still do it by ourselves. So I think that's just a tribute to persistence. little quote I like. Thought about putting, then I noticed who was watching. For me, in that photo beforehand, when I see the kids playing and doing a haka at the game, but it's a bit bigger than me now. It's kind of past me wanting to, whether I want to carry on or not. It's going to happen. So yeah, the other thing is about persistence. I said I applied 10 times every year to go to Australia to play league for a contract. The 10th time I got my visa, and it was for representing New Zealand Māori, played at Aboriginals over in the Gold Coast. So I went back to Australia with the Māoris, and as a tribute, they put a highlight of my career was leading the haka over there, and seeing the pictures on surfers is actually real. The sand in the tall buildings. Here's my education. I mentioned a bit, did a bit of psychology at Massey University. Did this cool incubator to learn about how to run all this stuff. And I think the most important thing is what I learned in life, actually. Is what I use most to engage with the rangatahi. Experience, I had various jobs: a chef, personal trainer, robber, truck driver, security guards, all sorts of stuff. Canterbury Youth Development Program, Horsell Residential, YMCA Alternative Education, and now Brush for Change. My favourite quote at the moment, or second favourite, or second equal, or first tie actually. Just pay the price now and collect the price later. If you collect the price now and pay the price later, life will add interest. I forgot the guy's name, but it was a dude at church. I just give him his, I don't want to claim it, it's not mine. But I relate to that. I wanted the prize when I was doing my crime. And I paid the price for 6 years of my life. And then actually it's not 6 years, it's my whole life, because that's always over me. The difference is what I do with it. So instead of it weighing me down, I embrace it, and I use it to share with people. Might be another quote in here somewhere. Frederick Douglass, it's easier to build strong children than repair broken men. I was a broken man, and I know it would be easier to build these rangatahi strong and for them to be repaired later on in life. It's funny how I came across this. I was watching a movie, and it was a random movie, American movie, and there's this photo of this black man on the wall, and it had Frederick Douglass. And I just thought, why would I see that on the wall of a movie? You know, just like any other art, a movie. So I searched it up, and this quote came out. And I was like, wait, I will take it. Brush for Change. So, Brush for Change pretty much is, we have a tagline where everyone gets a bargain. Similar to that, it's called Real People, Real Talk, Real Change. So, what we use is what we call reality therapy. So, real life lessons. What you can change and what you can't. So worry about what you can change. And that's also choices. If you choose to come late, then you're going to get sacked. If you choose to, sleep in that 5 extra minutes, then live with the consequences of your decision. If you choose to get to work on time every day, then you might choose to get a pay rise. I think we get it. Culture and identity. Why we do things who we are. I really didn't start turning my life around until I started looking into my culture and my family and what we're about and where we're from. So that is the basis of how we run our program with these rangatahi. Tikanga, obviously, we work under tikanga. So we do what is right for these kids. Education, everyone concerned. what we try to do with these kids is a lot of times education they think of as the teacher and the whiteboard. So education is everywhere. Education is 11 of us driving down the road in the van, the things we talk about, the things we see, the things we point out. So it's just, changing the way people think about what education is. Experience. So all this came from, I guess, my experience in what I call the machine, which is the system. And so we don't babysit kids. If kids want to take off, then they take off. And then maybe learn some lessons, and when they're ready, we'll still be here. Yeah, so I guess tuku iho, what I call intergenerational transmission, passing on what I learned down to the rangatahi. So they don't have to do what I did. If we build them strong, which is easier to fix them. Because it took me, well, I'm still not fixed. Always on a learning journey. Now learning, so the rangatahi think that we're teaching them, but they're actually teaching us. So the key is to listen to what they have to say, and not just listen and then carry on, but act on it. Otherwise, you're just another one. So we make that a point of finding out, and we do that in many ways, of finding out where they're at and what they think, and we adjust accordingly if it's suitable, obviously. Role model. So we have to role model in all that we do, not just 9 to 5 or 9 to 3. It's everything we do. Our whole lifestyle has to change. You post about New South Wales winning kind of thing. And then Helen actually said something which resonated with me at our last graduation. Travel the path less travel. Do the mahi, get the treats. That's what the boys say. Seek the challenge and stand up, because the best ideas are usually in the cemetery. That comes back to another Bruce Lee quote: willing is not enough. You must apply. Knowing is not enough. You must do. I think. Just going to show you a video of our last wānanga. Might get a better idea than me just rambling on a bit. So here we go.
My name's Timon, Joyce Grace, go to Cultural Park.
My name's Anthony, Manali.
My name's Liam, I'm 13.
Kia ora, my name is Bronson Turuakupu.
My name's Judy.
Yeah, I'm right.
Hi, my name's Isaiah Nancy, I go to Cultural Park.
Did you hit the button by mistake? I can play it again if you want.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
My name's Timon, Joyce Grace, go to Cultural Park.
My name's Anthony, Manali.
My name's Liam, I'm 13.
Kia ora, my name is Bronson Turuakupu.
My name's Judy.
Yeah, I'm right.
Hi, my name's Isaiah Nancy, I go to Cultural Park.
as like a sports player and all that, you know, had the right mindset, but then when I went to high school, I just like kind of lost the plot, just went with the crowd, did all sorts of stuff, like that stuff that I regret now.
I was just someone who didn't really like teachers, didn't like school, just didn't like anything to do with sitting down in the classroom doing work.
I used to be always in the referral room, P2.
Before this course, well, I wasn't that good in school, I always went around.
All those things that we can't change are external. All the things that we can change are internal. Makes sense?
Yeah.
They treat us like young men, and they treat us with respect as we do to them.
Well, they're like uncles, they're like the guidelines, everything, they teach us everything. Plus they have lots of love, yeah.
That's been pretty cool because you got mental support and everything. If you're sad to say anything, they're just good people.
If our mates are here, and we're here with them, but we want to go here, is there a right to leave them behind?
Yeah.
Why? Three things. You can stay here, you can leave them, take them with you, or you can bring them up. The good ones will come up,
Yeah.
roommates will come up with them.
I've probably gained a lot more self-respect and like self-confidence and stuff, and I've learned how to act around other people instead of like it always being about me. I've like made it more about other people and stuff.
The exchange for myself was probably the bullying, that, and not doing my work. So now it's kind of changed, getting there.
The thing I'm going to take away is probably not to give up. Because I used to give in quite a lot, but this is kind of teaching you not to give in and keep going.
Biggest thing I think is probably, you know, just life skills, cleaning, all that stuff, and after that, appreciating everything.
stories. That's all brochure change. That's it. Any question? Cool. Yes, we're, yeah, unfortunately, yep. Just, if I'm honest, just money. Yes? Yep, for sure, for sure. I think the key thing about the program is it's really the people, not the program. The program is great, but you need the right people to deliver it as well. So if those people are around, yep, so that program you just saw is it's a 6-week wānanga, leadership wānanga. So we take them out of school for 6 weeks. And we had to figure out whether it was worth taking them missing school for 6 weeks. So we asked for the kids who would benefit more from being with us for 6 weeks than being at school. The criteria is you have to want it. So we take anyone as long as they want it, and then straight away we're not babysitting. Steve,
when you're finished, would you ask these young men, the leaders of the next generation, to introduce themselves?
Sure. So there's 2 parts. I get a 6-week wānanga as one part, and then we also do one-on-one packages of care, mentoring. So, and the criteria for that is they have to want us to work with them. Oh, just ring me. We like to. We don't really have a referral. Just ring up if we have space. Then we'll come and meet with the rangatahi and the person and gauge whether, firstly, they're suitable for us and then we're suitable for them. Yes. Heaps. Is
there a one-year program yet?
No, we're working on that. However, we need some more money. Lions tour. I think the boys got a song actually.